Yeah, we all need to show up for each other. It's
Mhm.
important. Everyone's going to need somebody at some point in time. Like nobody climbs Mount Everest on their own.
No.
There were teachers that inspired them. There were guides that helped them. You think you get there on your own, but you don't. There's so many people that play a pivotal role getting you there. If they're not physically there, they're spiritually there.
Mhm.
And it's because of them that you got there. We need each other. And there's no shame in asking for help or saying that you're down or you're hurting. And when you do that, you realize that people will show up and want to show up. They need to know that you need them, right? We're not a bunch of mind readers.
Kill Complacency, a podcast that inspires growth and intentionality and helps you overcome your greatest obstacles.
It's interesting, Stephen, because a lot of what I'm hearing from you is life, is what helped. Whether it was someone else's life you got through stories, or giving back by writing a book, or pouring into this new daughter of yours. You know, it's a lot of times it seems like when we only focus on ourselves and our circle, at least for me, I remember learning this in my 20s. When I have a day off, because I was a youth pastor for a little bit, those were often the most discouraging days for me because they were self-centered, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I would find people to serve, even if it was my wife, like a cup of coffee, whatever, it always changed my mood. And so, do you
Yeah,
agree with that? Like
yeah,
it's good to
totally. I
give
think one of
back.
the big takeaways is that what has helped my healing is helping others.
Mm-hmm.
Because you feel like you're back in society in a
Mm-hmm.
meaningful manner, and not just playing the game and back on the treadmill and chasing this dream or that dream.
Yeah.
You're here for a reason. You understand why we're here,
Mm-hmm.
which is to have meaningful connection with one another, to provide unconditional love, to lift up one another. We're not here for a transactional experience and
Mm-hmm.
what someone may or may not be able to do for us, or what position they hold,
Sure.
or what cultural norms we think control, whether that's social media followers, wealth, stature, career, perceived power. It all goes away in moments like this, and you realize exactly why you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you connect with humanity in a way that is almost like an enlightened perspective. You realize that humanity is about being more, not having more.
Mm-hmm. My wife has lost both her parents, and did maybe in her early 30s. She lost them both.
I'm
And
sorry.
yeah. But as a result, everything you just said, she is much better at than me, as far as not holding grudges, forgiving, moving on, not letting the stupid little stuff that we think matters be of
Yeah,
any importance to her.
yeah. It definitely, that's something that does happen, is you realize what matters most,
Mm-hmm.
not taking anyone or anything in life for granted. Like I said, we get caught up in that day-to-day minutia and our little worlds, and you realize how granular and small we each are. Um, but that together we're here for many of the same reasons. And if we could all embrace that, I look at everybody now as if they're carrying an invisible backpack, and in it is their own suffering. And if we can look at one another like
Mm-hmm.
that, then this becomes a much more kinder, compassionate society where we can all thrive rather than trying to step on each other to get whatever external thing someone is chasing that
Mm-hmm.
means nothing.
Yeah. Zero. I talked. I met a random guy at a meetup a couple weeks ago, and he texted me on Friday, and he said, "Random question: have you ever done I think it's called a death day calculation?" And I played around with it on Sunday. I did four. You did. I just Googled it,
Yep.
but I did it because of this. I want to be more intentional, right?
Yeah.
And I want to know that I've only got, ideally, 30 years left or whatever. And so it's really interesting to, put that in perspective. It'd be interesting to have like it counting down,
Well,
because,
they have that now where I've seen more people are selling calendars, and they're big. And you put
okay,
on your wall, and it's got the projected number of weeks you have left on this planet.
okay,
At the end of each week, you fill in that square, and you watch it start to fill in, and you realize the number of blank squares is shrinking. And sometimes we need that, picture's worth 1,000
Yeah.
words, right? We need that visual representation to get us to really accept what maybe we don't want to accept, is that our time is limited. And then what are you doing with it? Are you making the most
Hmm.
of it? Are you focused on the right things, the right priorities? Or are you chasing all the wrong things? And you're only going to realize that when it's too late.
Yeah.
This experience definitely changed my life perspective in every way, shape, and form. And I now live my life according to a maxim that was espoused as far back as 700 AD by a guy named, excuse my voice, I've overcome the flu, Hassan al-Basri. And he said that this life is made up of 3 days: yesterday,
Mm.
today, and tomorrow. Yesterday is come and gone. There's nothing we can do to change it. We can learn from it. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed to anyone. So why are we going to worry about something that may not even come into fruition? But today, that's life right
Mm.
now. And so I live day to day. It's very hard to plan ahead. I can put things on the calendar, but they don't mean anything because I'm not sure I'm going to get there.
Sure.
Let me give you an example. When our daughter graduated from high school last year in May, I gave her a graduation present in March. My wife looked at me and said, "What are you doing? Giving it to her now?" I said, "I don't know if I'm going to be here in May,
Mm.
and I want to see the joy on her face." And what's the big deal? We're celebrating her today, and
She's gonna graduate.
if I'm there on May 30th, then I'll celebrate again and I'll hug her then too.
Yeah.
But we again, so many of us take so much for granted, and we think we have all this control over life. I felt like I did. But I had sent Jake away on camping trips,
Yeah.
summer camps, sports field trips, sporting games, friends' houses, sleepovers, you name it. He always came home until he didn't. And I blame myself initially when he died, even though I wasn't there.
Hmm.
But as his father, my job is to love, protect, and provide for my family. And I felt like I failed my son. And that was the first kind of level of forgiveness, was
Sure.
forgiving myself. Um, but that's the control, right? It's all control is an illusion.
Hmm.
And I think when people can accept that illusion and then accept that our time is limited and then really focus on what matters most and prioritize that, they'll find that they're going to live differently. They're going to probably experience more joy because,
Hmm.
again, we're not going to take all those little things that happen. The little things are the big things in life.
Sure. Absolutely. That's really good. And the listeners, I wish I hope they can get this. Like, make today count, right? Like, we don't know we have tomorrow.
Yeah.
And what happened in the past, we can't change. But today is what we can make the best of.
Yeah. And, I write a lot about this in the book, and it's all about these different characteristics and values and traits that I think are important. And then we'll see this. A lot of people think, well, I don't want to read a book about grief, right? It's depressing. It's sad.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a component of this book that's sad, right? My son died. How can it not be sad? But the rest of the book is incredibly inspiring and hopeful,
Mm.
giving people the tools and the strategies of how they can find their way out of whatever darkness they encounter. Because we all have our own darkness.
Sure.
And you have to latch onto something that's going to get you out of that. Um, Again, people, your own beliefs, your hope. Um, but I just want to make that clear. It's a hopeful and inspiring book as much
Sure.
as it is about dealing with grief, again, which comes in many forms. You don't have to have lost someone to relate to this book.
Yeah. Well, the title itself is one of hope. Like, just walk on. Like,
Hmm.
keep moving. We can't. Yes, the past shapes and affects us, but at some point you got to walk on. If you want to wear a billboard of a message of kill complacency or live intentionally, then check out my merch store. It's www.mindsetshop.com. Mindset is with an X, so it's MINDXET shop SHOP.com. Mindsetshop.com.
See, we don't control what happens to us in life,
Mm-hmm.
but we control what we feel and do about what happens to
Yeah.
us. And if you can lock it down into that, then you understand, okay, I control my thoughts, my words, my behavior, and your attitude is really important, right? There's a great quote by W. Clement Stone, a businessman. He lived to almost 100 years of age, and he said, There's little difference in people, but the little difference makes a big difference.
Mm.
The little difference is attitude, and the big difference is whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all batteries, right? Are we gonna choose to be positive or negative?
Yeah. That's good. Um, moving forward, Stephen, what do you, I mean, I know it's kind of hard to, but what's your vision with this book and helping people? And
I continue to spread the good word about it. I publicly speak now, so I travel around and speak to an array of different audiences, trying to inspire people just to live their best life,
Mhm.
become the best version of themselves they can, reminding them what's important. I think we all need reminders from time to time because, uh, nobody in LA planned on wildfires a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and now their lives have been greatly altered, indelibly, horribly,
Mhm.
tragically. Some will find a way to rebuild, obviously, and others will struggle. And you just never know where or when it's going to happen. But grief is a universal and indiscriminate concept, and it's going to
Mhm.
happen to every single one of us. So we need to have better conversations around it and
Mhm.
better support, and celebrate, and not in a way celebrate it and celebrate it by helping one another,
Sure.
showing up. I
Serving.
joke that you can fake a lot of things in life, but you can't fake showing up.
Mhm.
When someone is a friend or a family member is struggling with something and they have their own form of grief, whatever it is, you need to show up for them, be there, and don't worry about saying the right thing or the wrong thing because the reality is there's nothing you can say that's actually going to make them feel better in that moment.
Mhm.
But your presence, your mere presence, will make them feel better. They won't
Yeah.
feel alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Preach it.
Yeah,
One of my top books from 2024 was um, a book called "Be Your Future Self Now," and it's the idea that we have these lofty goals and ambitions, but they're always out there. But we can do those things now. We don't have to wait.
yeah.
And
Many of us are waiting for like a rainy day, or I don't know what they're waiting for, but you know,
but we
we don't
do. I
know.
mean, even
We're gonna go to bed tonight, and we don't know what tomorrow brings.
yeah.
Everybody expects they're gonna wake up. Everybody expects that it's gonna be just a great day. Or some people are carrying yesterday into today,
Hmm.
which isn't a good thing, right? Each day is new. It's a white canvas,
Yeah.
and you get to paint the picture you want or write the story you want. You're the author,
Hmm.
but not if you're carrying yesterday's crap into today, not if you're looking too far ahead and focused on things that may never happen.
Yeah, that's good. My wife and I are going to go on a cruise in a couple weeks, and she's like, "Hey, you need to download the app." And I said, "Hey, that's in 2 weeks. Like, oh, I got plenty of time to download the app." Now
Yeah,
she's a planner, so she wants it all done,
sure.
and I'll probably do it for her. But
Where are you
at,
going?
it's a marriage cruise. It's with Family Life, and we're going down to uh, out of Miami and down out to San Juan and Jamaica and
Sounds
just
nice.
big
Sounds
circle.
very
Yeah,
nice and warm.
yeah. But
We'll have
but
to
yeah,
make
but yeah, I have a tendency to, and I probably have a tendency to procrastinate. Maybe more than I should, but trying to get done what I need to get done at the time. Um, and I appreciate what you said. Like some people bring yesterday into today, and now they're letting their past define them, and
yeah.
and there's some agreements and some um maybe some lies they're believing about themselves because of that.
True. The Cherokee have a great proverb. It says, "Don't let too much of yesterday fall into today."
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. Well, you have a ton of quotes. What is a quote that has been an anchor for you in all this, Stephen? Or a book? Is there?
Um, well, one of the most provocative books I've ever read is "Many Lives, Many Masters" by Brian Cohen. Fantastic read that will make you rethink this universe and the realms and how close we are. But a quote: C.S. Lewis, who confronted his own grief and wrote eloquently about it, has a great quote that really um, makes me think of Jake. His quote is, his absence is like the sky. It's spread over everything."
Mm,
And that's how it is with Jake. I mean, I think about him 10,000 times a day.
sure.
There's, like I said, reminders and triggers everywhere. Um, he just was that larger than life kid who did more in 16 years than most people do with a full life.
Sure. Yeah. It's powerful. Um, if there's one final message you want to leave to the audience, what would your final message be?
That we all suffer, and no matter how it happens or when it happens, we all must find a way to walk on in our lives.
Mm,
So don't lose hope. Um, don't stop reaching out. Don't worry about asking for help. And don't worry about being vulnerable, because that actually is your strength.
mm. Yeah, it's we hide behind being vulnerable, don't we? But
Especially men.
yeah,
We're kind of trained to, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we are certainly trained and coached to hide behind it. I was. Um, you know, don't let anyone see you cry. Um, but like I said earlier, this experience um altered me so much that I cried for 4 years straight every day.
Hmm.
It would, and you learn that you can try to stuff it, but it's just gonna find you later on, and you can't sweep it under the rug
Hmm.
or move it aside. You have to confront it, and you have to work your way through it. It's the only way out.
Hmm. Yeah, and that authenticity is what goes so much further with people than the fake it till you make it mentality that
Yeah,
social media
and
gives us.
that's what Jake was. He was incredibly authentic, and I tell this story when I speak, but because it captures the essence of authenticity so well and reminds me of Jake. There was this couple. They'd been married for 60 plus years. They loved each other deeply, um, but they were aging, and the woman was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
And the husband tried to take care of her as best he could at home until he finally reached the point where he just couldn't do it. His own health was starting to become an issue. He just physically couldn't do it, and he reluctantly placed her into a nursing care facility. And he visited his wife every day. He sat with her, he held her hand, they talked, they played cards, they listened to music, day after day. About 6 months into the stay, he showed up, and his wife no longer recognized him. And it hurt him, but he showed up day after day after day,
Mm.
undeterred. Finally, one of the nurses pulled him aside one day and said, "Why do you come here every day? She has no idea who you are."
Mm.
And the man looked at the nurse and said, "Because I know who I am."
Mm.
And that's really what Jake was about. He knew who he was, and he reminds us all that we're born with one obligation, and that's to be authentically who we are.
Mm. Stephen, you should write another book called Show Up. I feel like that's a theme throughout this with you is showing up.
Yeah, we all need to show up for each other. It's
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to need somebody at some point in time. Like nobody climbs Mount Everest on their own. There
No.
were teachers that inspired them. There were guides that helped them.
Yeah.
It's like you think you get there on your own, but you don't. It really, there's so many people that play a pivotal role in getting you there.
Mhm.
If they're not physically there, they're spiritually there.
Mhm.
And it's because of them that you got there. So we need each other. And there's no shame in asking for help or saying that you're down
Yeah.
or you're hurting. And when you do that, you realize that people will show up and want
Mhm.
to show up. They need to know that you need them, right?
Mhm.
If we don't tell anybody, we're not a bunch of mind readers.
Yeah. A lot of times people are waiting for us to tell them.
Yeah, and we're masking it because God forbid we show someone that we're
Normal.
in pain or that we can't control whatever darkness is engulfing us,
Mhm.
and we feel weak. And you can't show weakness, right? Actually, you can. We're all weak. I don't
Yeah.
care who it is. We're all equal, and we all feel the same things, different times. We react differently, but the reactions are not dissimilar depending
Mhm.
on the occurrence.
Yeah. I almost feel like sometimes we get further with people when we are authentic and real than when we're.
Yeah, when you open up,
Mhm.
you make it inviting for the other person then to do the same, and you connect on such a deeper level, and you
Mhm.
realize all this other stuff is bullshit, right? It's just
Mhm.
like we're connecting, and you're sharing something that you maybe went through years before, and how you got out of it, and inspires the other person to find their own way,
Yeah.
you know? And we do feel alone. It's natural, but we're not alone.
Hmm.
You know, it felt like I was the only one who lost a kid. But then you run a Google search, and my wife did every night for years. And she just list off the kids that died that day.
Hmm.
And you realize you're not alone.
Hmm. Wow, that's powerful. Well, I sure appreciate you sharing and helping others through this to walk on. And your message is powerful. And, Jake gets to live on through what you're doing now. So that's really cool.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on and for allowing me to share Jake's love and light with so many others who hopefully listen to this podcast and take away at least one thing that can help them and wherever they find themselves.
Stephen, how do people find, follow, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's Stephen with a PH, last name Panus, PANUS.com. Books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Target. It's all online. But yeah, if they're interested in booking me to speak, I'm happy to go just about anywhere. And there's a lot of information on the scholarships on the site, and everything you need to know is right there.
Sounds good. Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day and have a great cruise in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values, and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways in which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there.